On Wednesday, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments for Trump v. Barbara.
So Trump v. Barbara is a case about birthright citizenship and whether the Constitution guarantees that everybody born in the United States is a United States citizen.
The debate of birthright citizenship centers on the 14th Amendment, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. For the past 100 years, it has been widely assumed that anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen, regardless of where their parents are from or how they came to the United States. But President Donald Trump believes that the 14th Amendment has been misinterpreted.
Birthright.
On his first day in office, he signed an executive order barring citizenship to children born to parents who aren't citizens or are in the country illegally. Birthright citizenship hasn't always been clear.
In 1898, there was a case in the Supreme Court called Wong Kim Ark, and Wong Kim Ark had been born in the United States to parents who were legally here but were citizens of China. And there were some laws back then that were called the Chinese Exclusion Acts, and there were some discriminatory laws about people from China. And there was a real question of whether, even though they had permission to be here, their child was an American citizen by virtue of birth. And the court looked at the facts, looked at the law, and said, even though they were citizens of China, they were lawfully present in the United States, they were domiciled here, and therefore their child was born an American citizen.
This case has been interpreted to mean that the citizenship of parents doesn't matter for their children's citizenship, although the legal status of the parents was a key factor in the court's decision.
There are a lot of reasons based on the history and the structure of the 14th Amendment to question that.
Representing the Trump administration, U.S. Attorney General D. John Sauer's argument hinges on the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof. He argues that temporary visitors and illegal immigrants are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, meaning their children shouldn't be considered citizens.
And so the argument is you can just read Wong Kim Ark to apply to people who are lawfully here and say, but if you're not lawfully here, then you don't owe sufficient allegiance to the United States. It's not your domicile.
But the court seemed skeptical.
You obviously put a lot of weight on subject to the jurisdiction thereof. But the examples you give to support that strike me as very quirky.
The opposing counsel argued for the previous understood interpretation of the 14th Amendment to stay the same.
Ask any American what our citizenship rule is, and they'll tell you, everyone born here is a citizen alike. That rule was enshrined in the 14th Amendment.
The Supreme Court is set to release their decision in June or July.
The important thing is we have a Supreme Court to answer these questions. And for kids who are interested in being attorneys or kids who just want to understand so they can be good citizens, this is a great case to look at to get an idea of how the system works.